Well, the San Jose Sharks, the big winners in the draft lottery, they get first pick overall. The Montreal Canadiens, the Ottawa Senators, and Calgary Flames are also all picking in the top 10.
He's big, he's strong, he's aggressive, he's got real significant initiative in his game. I really believe that he's only starting to tap into the potential that he has.
Score! Your hero for Canada, celebrating!
It means a lot to me, always dreaming about playing in the NHL, so it would definitely be a dream come true.
Hey everybody, welcome to TSN Hockey's 2024 Mock Draft Special, where our Director of Scouting, Mr. Craig Button, makes all 32 first-round selections in anticipation of this Friday's NHL Draft at Sphere in Las Vegas. And by the way, my buddy Craig Button celebrating his 35th year scouting.
Yeah,
wow.
You watch the young players, and it really is a thrill for me. And the ability to watch who are going to be the stars in the future in the NHL, and you see it all over time. We go back in time, and certainly this draft has some players that are going to be stars. And it's just a lot of fun for me to be able to watch these young players.
How did you prepare for this enormous responsibility? Because everybody's watching to see what the first round's going to look like.
Well, understand one thing. The biggest thing is I'm not trying to project who will go where. I get to make the selections for all 32 first-round picks, and that's a thrill for me. I've had it with one team, not with all 32 selections. You just watch the players. My good friend Jimmy Johnson, who scouts for the Dallas Stars, goes, it's amazing what happens when you go and watch the players and watch the games. You do that, and like I said, I have a lot of fun doing it. Big responsibility, but it's a fun time.
There is much to be debated. However, we do know one thing for sure. Vancouver's Macklin Celebrini will go number 1 to San Jose. But in no time at all, Craig, you've got a tough choice at number 2. And then things get really dicey with Montreal, Ottawa, and Calgary all on deck in the top 10. A reminder, this is the last year the NHL draft is going to be centralized. After this year, teams are going to break off and they're going to hunker down, but you're always going to be centralized for us here for the moment.
Absolutely. This is Draft Center at TSN.
All right. San Jose picking number 1 overall for the first time in the 34-year history of their franchise. Boston University alumnus and Sharks general manager Mike Greer is making the first pick and has left no doubt where he's going to go. But we have to make it official in our mock draft. San Jose is on the clock, and with the first pick overall, the Sharks select
Macklin Celebrini. And like Mike Greer said, did I say Macklin? Yeah, I said Macklin. He's the best player in this draft. And one word comes to mind when you talk about Macklin Celebrini: complete. And in every single area of the game, he's able to find a way to impact the game. Offensively, defensively, with the puck, without the puck. He reminds me so much of Jonathan Tij. What was that? A foundational player. Somebody that set the tone, that set the standard for 3 Stanley Cup winning teams in Chicago. But whatever uniform or jersey that Jonathan Tij pulled over his equipment, he made that impact. And that's what Macklin Celebrini does. Doesn't matter where he is, who he's playing for, his impact is significant. And it will be exactly that for the San Jose Sharks.
Celebrini is a prodigy. There's no doubt about that. Turning on the red light at prodigious rates, scoring 46 goals in 50 regular season games with Chicago as a 16-year-old, then 32 goals in just 38 games with Boston U as a 17-year-old. Add in 10 goals in 12 games with Team Canada over 2 seasons. Celebrini's got 88 goals in 100 games. Next up, the Chicago Blackhawks are selecting 2nd overall, the first time since the advent of the modern draft back in 1969.
Ivan Demidov from St. Petersburg in Russia, a mercurial talent, reminds me so much of Nikita Kucherov, and the impact that he can have offensively in so many different areas of the game is really impressive. When the puck's on his stick, he has that 360-degree awareness. They drafted a generational player last year in Connor Bedard, and to be able to add Ivan Demidov to Connor Bedard, you're talking about a dynamic duo in every single area of the game offensively. And like Tays and Kane that led them to 3 Stanley Cups, this duo could do similar things for the Blackhawks.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has kept all of North American NHL-based scouts from seeing Demidov live this season. However, he was still the definitive choice at number 2 in Bob McKenzie's annual TSN ranking of top prospects. All right, next up, Anaheim is picking the top 10 for a league-high 5th straight season.
Z. Bulliam from the University of Denver. The Anaheim Ducks won the Stanley Cup in 2007. Their captain was Scott Niedermayer, and that's exactly who Bulliam reminds me of. The ability to control the game in every single area. Left defense, right defense, it doesn't matter where he plays. Defensively, offensively. He's not going to be this prolific offensive player, but he's going to be a player that when he's on the ice, the game is calm. It's under control, just like Niedermayer was able to do it. Oh, and by the way, like Niedermayer, all Bulliam does is win.
And he doesn't lack any confidence whatsoever. He actually labeled himself a winner, and as you say, for good reason. He's won 2 world titles and 1 collegiate crown over the last 2 seasons. Next up, the Columbus Blue Jackets with the 4th overall pick.
Caden Lidstrom, strength down the middle, but a big, strong, powerful, impactful center. And the abilities that he has from the skill area are really impressive. But the size, the physicality, the will, the drive, these are the types of players that can really make a significant difference for a team. They got a lot of good young players in Columbus, and Caden Lidstrom rounds that out. And when you talk about indomitable will, that's Caden Lidstrom, and you start to add him to a really good group of players in Columbus, you now can start to take real significant strides forward.
And with that pick, Columbus could indeed complete a quadfecta, choosing 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th over a 4-year span. Adam Fantilli last year at number 3. Before that, Caden Lidstrom, Ken Johnson, and David Jiricek in 2022. To the Montreal Canadiens, they're selecting 5th overall for the 2nd straight year. Last year, the Canadiens chose a defenseman, David Reinbacher. Where do they go this year?
Tij Iginla from the Kelowna Rockets. Yep, Tij. And an impressive player in his own right. Different than his father in certain areas, but very similar in other areas. The drive, the ability to play inside the dots, to attack, to not be denied. That was how Jerome played, and that's how Tij plays. He plays with a real initiative. We did a mock draft a week ago, and we asked Montreal Canadiens fans to weigh in. Who would you like to see drafted? They really like Caden Lidstrom, not available. So they really looked at Tij Iginla as a real positive pick. He wasn't the only one, but I think that Montreal Canadiens fans, if they get Tij Iginla, they'll be very impressed with his abilities.
I like getting the fans involved. That's a pretty cool idea. Getting picked, by the way, 5th would give Tij definitive bragging rights in the family. Dad Jerome was chosen 11th by Calgary in 1995. Tij is going to join us on the show in just a few minutes' time. Bulliam was the 2nd youngest player in the NCAA in the 2023-24 season. Celebrini was the youngest. Lidstrom missed more games than he played this season due to a back injury, but he did score at a 57-goal pace when he was healthy and in the lineup for Medicine Hat. All right. Interesting one here. General Manager Bill Armstrong is drafting 6th for the 2nd straight year, but for the first time as the general manager of the Utah Hockey Club. Who's he taking in that slot?
Artem Levshunov. And Bill Armstrong likes those big defenders. His 6th overall pick last year was Dmitry Shimishov. And now you get Levshunov, and you can now pair these 2 guys together. Levshunov has a real understanding of the game, strong ability to play offensively, defensively, calm, consistent, steady. You know, when he's out on the ice, what he does for coaches, he lowers their heart rate. He lowers their stress levels. And a player that just commands the game and controls it in really significant ways. And the Utah franchise has a lot of good young players. This just adds to that group.
If you're getting a sense of deja vu, I can't blame you as you're watching the 2024 draft unfold. The top 6 teams this year are the same as last year. Of course, San Jose replaces Chicago at number 1, and Utah replaces its former self at the bottom. All right, we're going to call this the captain's pick because Ottawa is picking next. Who are they going to pick at number 7? Brady Tkachuk's sweater jersey number.
Yeah, well, I'm going with Zane Parekh, the dynamic offensive defender from the Saginaw Spirit, the defenseman of the year in the Ontario Hockey League. He's a wizard with the puck on his stick. He can pass it, he can shoot it, he jumps into the attack. He sometimes makes it look so easy that people think he's not putting forth an effort. How do you measure mental effort and the consistency that he plays with? He conjures up images of Erik Karlsson. Tell me Ottawa Senators fans don't love that. And when we asked the fans of the Ottawa Senators to weigh in on it, they said, no left defenseman. We want somebody different than a left defenseman. We have enough of those guys. Zane Parekh is different. And if you can get somebody that can contend for a Norris Trophy, Zane Parekh is that guy.
And he's coming off a great year. His timing has been spectacular, earning the CHL Defenseman of the Year honors, winning the Memorial Cup with the host team Saginaw. After he goes at the number 7 slot, the 8th overall pick belongs to Seattle, and you have them taking London defenseman Sam Dickinson. He had 70 points in just 68 games last season. And Craig is doing his brother's work yet again. As a reminder, Todd Button is the Flames' director of amateur scouting. This is the first of Calgary's 2 picks in the opening round. Where do they go with their first rounder?
Anton Salayev, the 6'7", Bob McKenzie calls him a unicorn. And certainly when you can skate like Salayev and you're 6'7", and he plays with an edge and he's territorial, he makes life difficult for opponents. The Calgary Flames have really done a nice job in being able to build out their blue line with a lot of different types. But when you start to look at how they're building out that blue line in time, in a few years' time coming, they can have a blue line that can contend and really give you all the different elements. Listen, as the older brother to Todd, sometimes you expect to carry the day, but Todd doesn't need my help in running the Calgary Flames draft, and he's made some great selections over the year. 2 Norris Trophy winners, Adam Fox, drafted by the Calgary Flames, Mark Giordano, developed by the Calgary Flames. No other team has done that.
Nice little sibling situation. That's very nice. Calgary, by the way, hasn't taken a blue liner since its first picks since Juuso Valimaki back in 2019. And the final pick in the top 10 is Beckett Seneca, the Oshawa Generals. You have them going 10th overall to the New Jersey Devils. All right, time for a break. When we return, we'll talk to Tij Iginla and ask him how he feels about Craig picking him to go 5th overall to the Montreal Canadiens.
The NHL on TSN is powered by FanDuel's Goal in First 10 Minutes, the most electric bet in hockey.
Right in front, score! On cue, Craig. Tij Iginla on the puck in front. Quick shot, score! Tij Iginla buries one. Schaefer, Iginla, reshot, score! Tij Iginla! Snipe show up top. What a start! Iginla. Tij Iginla, score! Top shelf, Tij Iginla.
Tij Iginla's a long way from the 625 goals scored by Jerome in the NHL, but he did surpass his Hall of Fame dad in draft year production in the WHL. Jerome had 33 goals with Kamloops in the 94-95 season, while Tij scored 47 with Kelowna in 23-24. Jerome did have more than 3 times his penalty minutes, 111 versus 35. Pleased to welcome Tij Iginla to the show. Tij, you're the perfect guest for our show. You got a fan in Craig Button. He's got you ranked 3rd in his final rankings list. And he's got the Habs taking you 5th overall in the mock draft. What do you think of where Craig has you on his list and about the possibility of becoming a member of the Canadiens?
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to be a Canadian. I think passionate fan bases in Canada. I think it'd be really cool to get to go to a Canadian team, and it's cool to kind of see myself go up in the rankings through the year and just kind of see how far I've come. So it's been fun watching that sort of thing, and it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out when the time comes.
In your interview with the Habs, you compared yourself to Pegasus, the mythological winged horse who could fly. Your coach in Kelowna says you don't have an off button. So which are you, Pegasus or the Energizer Bunny?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I'd say, I just threw the Pegasus out there as wasn't premeditated or anything like that. It just kind of came to the top of my mind, and I wanted to, like I said in that interview, throw out something a little bit different. But yeah, the Energizer Bunny's a good one too, and I think that guy doesn't have an off switch either, so it'd be good to kind of play like him, I guess.
You talked about all the work you put into your shot. Who's got the better shot right now? Is it you or your 47-year-old old man and Hall of Famer, Jerome?
Yeah, I'd say right now he's getting a little bit older, and the sticks that he has probably don't have quite the same technology as the ones that I got now. So I'll go with myself, but yeah, in his prime, it'd definitely be a harder match for me.
Which was the bigger adrenaline rush for you this season? Your hat trick versus Spokane back on October the 9th, or the fight with your buddy Spokane's Berkeley Catton just 3 weeks later?
Yeah, they're both fun. We always have good battles. Me and Burke. He's a good buddy of mine. He's in my agency, and we're always whenever our teams clash. There's some good games, usually high scoring. But yeah, the hat trick was a lot of fun. But then that fight there was fun too.
Tij, I gotta ask you, looking ahead to the draft, have you picked a walk-up song, and how did you come to making the decision you did?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. I missed the email, didn't quite see it, so I was getting near the deadline. I was at the combine with my buddy Ollie Josephson there. He was my roommate there, and a good buddy of mine as well. So we were just kind of throwing some songs out there, and we didn't think it out too much, but one that I threw in there that I kind of liked was Hell's Bells by AC/DC. So I think that would be a good one, and yeah, it'd be fun to hear them play that.
Tij, congratulations again. You've had an unbelievable 12 months. Enjoy the draft.
Thank you very much.
Good kid. He is his father's son. Good kid. All right, Craig, we've done the top 10. Let's get to our next set of selections, 11 to 16.
Yeah, I'm zeroing in right at 13. The Minnesota Wild need scoring. Cole Eiserman's the best goal scorer in this draft. Broke Cole Caulfield's record. And Mike Bossy, the best goal scorer in the 1977 draft, went 15. Don't make the same mistake.
All right, let's go 17 through 22.
And the two Norwegians come right to mind here. Never has a Norwegian player been drafted in the first round, let alone two of them. Michael Brandsig, knee guard to the Chicago Blackhawks. He plays hard, he plays fast, he's on the puck, he creates lots of things. And Stian Solberg. Barry Trotz likes defenders that are hard, aggressive, can skate, can jump into the attack, and are no fun to play against. That's what Stian Solberg. He was excellent at the World Junior, and he was really good again for Norway at the World Championships.
All right, next up is 23 through 28, and 4 Canadian teams selecting over the next 6 picks. Toronto's first up at 23.
E.J. Emery from the National Team Development Program. E.J. Emery is that defender who makes life exceptionally difficult for opponents. He closes ice. He's an outstanding skater, the ability to beat pressure, to start transition, and he doesn't give you any opportunity to establish a presence in the defensive zone, and he gets the puck moving up to the forwards. A lot of people say, oh, what about the offense? Listen, if you can't stop the play in the defensive zone and get the play moving up, you're not going to create offense. Yeah. E.J. Emery is a dyed-in-the-wool competitor. The Toronto Maple Leafs need exactly that type of defender.
So Emery 23rd. Who do you have Colorado taking at 24?
At 24, you have Igor Chernyshov. And Igor Chernyshov is a really good goal scorer, somebody that understands how to get open. He's with a playmaker, somebody that can get him the puck. Igor Chernyshov, inside the dots from the top of the circles down, knows how to take advantage.
All right, Ottawa is on the clock for its second pick of the opening round. This was originally Boston's pick that the Sens acquired from Detroit in the Alex DeBrincat trade. A reminder, Craig, Ottawa is taking defenseman Zane Parekh with the number 7 overall pick.
Cole Beaudoin. It's now about the Ottawa Senators finding a way to get really competitive in deeper parts of their lineup. They have enough skill, and you certainly watch Ridley Gregg play with that competitive spirit. That's exactly how Cole Beaudoin plays. Hard, heavy, no fun to play against. Every single second that he's on the ice, it matters, and he's going to make life difficult for opponents. Exactly what the Ottawa Senators need if they want to take next steps.
To your point, Beaudoin was voted the hardest working player in the OHL's Eastern Conference and was standout performer at the Central Scouting Combine testing as well. Given the fact the Habs have the 5th overall pick this year, there's a lot of talk that the Habs may be willing to move their 26th overall pick. Speaking of which, a perfect time to remind you the draft order could certainly change as a result of day one trades. Last year was only the 3rd time in 31 drafts the first round order was not impacted by deals. 7 picks were dealt in 7 total trades in the 2022 season. Back to the mock draft now. Assuming the Montreal Canadiens do indeed keep their 26th overall pick they acquired from Winnipeg in the Sean Monahan trade, who are they selecting at that number?
Andrew Basher from the Medicine Hat Tigers. Andrew can play with any type of player offensively. He can play right wing, he can play left wing, but the sense and feel that he has for the game and who he's playing with and understanding how to take advantage of their skills and also contribute to their abilities is really significant. Listen, Kent Hughes, NHL teams, they love smart players. Andrew Basha is a really smart player that you can put in a lot of different areas of your lineup. I call him a flex lineup player. They're very valuable.
Montreal Canadiens fans, you're going to like this. They have 9 picks in the first 5 rounds of this year's draft. Okay, on next to the Carolina Hurricanes. Who are they taking at 27?
Merrick Van Acker from the Brantford Bulldogs. And he's got kind of a bulldog mentality in the way he plays. He plays to the net. He plays along the boards. He plays in traffic. He's got a really good determination in and around the net.
All right, this pick now for Calgary is the one that Calgary got from Vancouver in the Elias Lindholm deal. Craig, you got the Flames selecting gigantic defenseman Anton Siliev with a number 9 overall pick. Who do they take with their second?
Sam O'Reilly from the London Knights. Sam O'Reilly, like Easton Cowan last year, he's not the same type of player as Easton Cowan, but as time went on and he got more opportunity to show his abilities, he just showed that he's got NHL potential written all over him. He plays center, he plays right wing, he can play on the power play, he can contribute offensively, he kills penalties. But that ability to use his skills, to use his size, to use his brain, and again, a player that can flex throughout your lineup. Those are really valuable players, and Sam O'Reilly playing for Dale Hunter in London is only going to get better, certainly a winner, and that's exactly what Calgary Flames are trying to build with.
All right, let's recap the last 6 picks. A reminder, in the wake of General Manager Greg Conroy trading goalie Jacob Markstrom to New Jersey, the Flames have 2 first-rounders this year, then again in 25 and in 26. We'll be back to wrap up Craig's mock draft in a moment.
The NHL on TSN is powered by FanDuel's Goal in First 10 Minutes, the most electric bet in hockey.
We're less than a week away from the opening of free agency next Monday, so we can expect a busy week building up to then. We're going to have a huge crew at the draft this week to cover all the news and breaks, and then we're going to bring it all together for Free Agent Frenzy on July 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. All right, Craig, we have gone through your selections 1 through 28. We're down to the final 4. Take us home.
Yeah, I'm going to zero right in on pick 32 because the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. They traded their first-round pick to the Philadelphia Flyers. Every team would trade their first-round pick if that means winning the Stanley Cup. Dean Letourneau, a big center that has raw potential. Philadelphia Flyers like them big.
All right, here are Craig's projected 7 Canadian team picks, headed by Tij Iginla to Montreal at number 5. Iginla established himself as a pressure-treated goal scorer this season, scoring 9 goals in 11 playoff games and 6 goals in 7 World Championship under-18 games, including the gold medal winner versus Team USA. Last word, obviously, to you, my friend Craig. Now that the first round is complete, what happens? Well,
a lot of teams have players rated. They can't believe they're still available. And so now there's a retrenching, courtesy of my friend Steve Dryden, a new word for the vocabulary. Think about Ryan O'Reilly. He was an early second-round draft pick to the Colorado Avalanche. So there's going to be good players drafted after the first 32. That's just a fact of the matter. And that's what teams are looking at doing. Ryan O'Reilly, Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe Trophy winner. There's lots of those players that teams think that they can get. So that retrenching that happens after the first round, really significant.
All right. It's been a lot of fun, my friend. A reminder that Craig, Darren Dreger, CJ, Pierre LeBrun, a cast of thousands are going to come together at the draft because there's loads of news that happens during that week. Then we'll all regather again. Monday, July the 1st, it's Free Agent Frenzy. Join us. It's going to be a busy day. It all gets underway at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time.